reaction to enlightenment. Well, enlightenment was more focusing on, let's say, application of the scientific approach to study of human behavior and trying to explain everything, whether it is natural, physical, or social, through that approach. Now, that ideology was countered by, let's say, religious kind of approaches. So there was a big criticism of the Enlightenment approach by, let's say, the people from French Catholic counter-revolutionary philosophy. Their focus was that God created society, and whatever has been created by God, that is something sacred. And if it is that sacred, then human beings have no reason, and they are nobody to, let's say, dismantle it or to tamper with that kind of a sacred kind of creation by God. So what we see that they were little conservative with respect to the Enlightenment, which was being, let's say, followed over there, and these were the two, let's say, schools of thought. One is more conservative, the other is more scientific, and there was a tussle between the two. So the conservatives considered tradition, imagination, emotionalism, and religion as useful forces for the society. Not only useful, they were the necessary prerequisites for the functioning of the society and for a smooth, let's say, ongoing system of the society. And since it was considered as useful, functional, sacred, therefore it has to be conserved, it has to be preserved, it has to be followed. So it creates, let's say, a system, an order, a smooth functioning of the society. Then we should not disturb it. So what we see is that it has influence on French sociological theory, particularly because that kind of, I think, scientific approach got Peters in that particular area. So an uncomfortable mix of Enlightenment and counter-Enlightenment continued at that time. So there was a reaction to Enlightenment, and that generated new thinking, new ideas, new approaches to the study of the society. So that since the conservatives were focusing or emphasizing on order of the societies God has created and it is smoothly functioning, why should we adopt the scientific kind of approach or scientific technology? And since we adopt these things, they disturb the smooth functioning of the society. So that was the tussle at that time, whereby sociology became rational, since they wanted to copy the natural sciences. Therefore, sociology people wanted to follow the logical and empirical kind of approach. So that approach was more towards change rather than to stability, which was closer to the heart of the conservatives.